M. Kennedy. I have recently found out about the Writers of the Future, a contest for science fiction and fantasy writers. There is no entry fee, and writers get to keep the rights to their work. I thought this was too good to be true, so I poked around and realized winning works are published through Galaxy Press, and to contact them, you email them at Author Services, which is a part of the Church of Spiritual Technology, right? Is this just a shell competition with the aim of getting details of people in order to harass them into doing courses in the usual Scientology way? All right, thank you for this question. And no, this is not just another way to get addresses of people, because there's way too much work and effort and money put into this exercise for it to be just a data collection for some writers and some illustrators, because there is a Writers of the Future and there's an Illustrators of the Future contest. And both of these have been sponsored by, paid by the Author Services, Inc. And Author Services is L. Ron Hubbard's literary agent. And that's the organization that serves the function of his literary agent. They have the rights of publication and distribution, sales of all of L. Ron Hubbard's fiction works. Okay, Battlefield Earth, Mission Earth, all of his pulp fiction, all of that falls under Author Services. And Author Services, ASI, is manned exclusively by Sea Org members. So it is, by that very fact, a part of the Church of Scientology. Even though it's not officially incorporated, it is a for-profit activity that is not incorporated in any way under the Church of Scientology or its umbrella or any of its front organizations or groups, right? It's a totally separate thing. Yet it's manned only by Scientologists, Sea Org members, the most dedicated Scientologists, in fact, what you could call the fanatical ones. So that's kind of interesting. What's that about? Well, turns out Author Services is a fund, is a for-profit activity that is legitimately working to try to popularize L. Ron Hubbard as a fiction author. That's their mission statement and purpose, and that's what they're trying to do. But the money that comes in from that isn't going to the head of Bridge, to the head of Author Services. It's not going to those Sea Org members. They're making $50 a week, right? It's going to Scientology, but where it's specifically going, or at least I believe a lot of the money is going, is to the Church of Spiritual Technology. So it's kind of a funnel for money to go and fund the Church of Spiritual Technology, or CST. And that's the organization that is in charge of the preservation of the tech project. And that's storing all of L. Ron Hubbard's written and spoken words for, the generations to come. Even if a nuclear war happens, all of that stuff will be preserved. Okay, so you were asking about the contest. Now, this Writers and Illustrators of the Future contests are really great internal industry PR activities for Author Services, right? They're a literary agent. They're trying to make contacts in the industry to sell and publish L. Ron Hubbard's works, popularize his works, make his name a popular name in the science fiction and fantasy world, because the demographic of Scientology is very much that group of people. At least it used to be. I don't think it really is anymore, but it used to be. Science fiction fans, fantasy fans, bookish people, engineers. These were the original Dianeticists. They were coming into it through astounding stories and pulp fiction and stuff like that. So anyway, so this has a long sort of history to it connected with Scientology. And ultimately, it is desired that all of this good press and good publicity for L. Ron Hubbard and his works will result in conversions to Scientology. People come in, and we used to have briefings and talks about this. So this is very open in the world of Scientology. Everybody knows this is the case, that on a broad basis, what Author Services is trying to do is popularize L. Ron Hubbard so people get interested in him, read his fiction works, and go, well, what else did he write? and then look into Dianetics and Scientology. And then you have potential avenues for people to get recruited into Scientology. So it's really kind of a byproduct, not a direct effect of the work of author services that we're going to have more Scientologists, but that is a stated goal. Okay, so that's part of the picture. But much more, I believe, the picture that you're looking at there represents a money stream for author services to make this money and then flow it to Church of Spiritual Technology so they can do their preservation of the tech or whatever else they're up to. Because the preservation of the tech project we know about, but that doesn't mean we know about everything they're doing. This is a confidential organization that very few people, even in Scientology, know a whole lot about. Only a handful of people work there. I'm talking about CST now. Author Services is also a very small group, right? It's really only a handful of Sea Org members running that show. But CST, Author Services is a for-profit entity that is very public-facing. CST is not. You go to a CST property up in Big Bear or Arrowhead or wherever they're located up in California, they will turn you away. There are fences and guards and guns, and they're not at all interested in anybody coming anywhere near their properties. And they have many of them. There's, one out in New Mexico. They tried to do one in Wyoming. I think there's a couple in California. So, so these properties are well hidden away and are not public access. And the CST's general activities are completely not transparent and not well known. Who is even on their board of directors is not even well known. So very, very hush-hush operation, which means all kinds of things could be going on there with the amount of money that's flowing through that and the potential for money laundering, right? Let's never forget that Scientology is a criminal enterprise at its heart. It is a money-making scam. So, so I think CST is simply one of the church's many, organs of financial fraud and deceit, right? That has a stated public purpose and which has to work on that purpose. I mean, they do create the preservation of the tech project is real. They are doing it. But who's to say that that's the only thing they're doing, right? So anyway, that's kind of a little bit of what I could say about that. I hope that answers your question and gives you a lot more information about CST and author services and what that's all about.